In other videos, we've analyzed the biology of the bat monsters and talked about what likely happened on the ship during its journey to Earth. But there's one thing we haven't done any real theorizing about, and that's exactly what happened to the vampire civilization that forced them to flee to a new world. So let's do that. My theory is based on an observation about a connection between the vampires and the alien spaceship that seems too strange to be just a coincidence. One thing we can say for certain about the alien vampire parasite is that it has some biological method of keeping bodies from decomposing. It kills its hosts as it takes them over, then locks them in a state of partial decomposition. As we see in the autopsy report, the flesh of the vampires was already dead and rotting while it was still walking around. As we can see from the Ancient One, this isn't a trait that's exclusive to vampire versions of the bat creatures, like their cocooning ability. Balathu or Kurum spends thousands of years walking around as a corpse, without ever getting encased in stone. So the vampire parasites can preserve tissue for insanely long periods of time, keeping it functional even after death. Doesn't that sound a little like something else in the game? That's right. The goo that flowed all over the Ancient One's best available compatriot has those exact same properties. Whether it's keeping something staring straight ahead for 4,000 years, or keeping Rachel from turning into a vampire for like a day, this yellow goop has the exact same capabilities as whatever chemical the vampire parasite uses to keep its hosts in a kind of stasis. This leads to the obvious question. Is this just a coincidence, or are we actually talking about the same substance? This leads to my theory. What if the catastrophe that befell the bat monster civilization was caused by the bat monsters breeding, farming, and exploiting the vampire parasites? Perhaps the bat monsters discovered the parasites and saw the medicinal potential of their ability to preserve tissue, then decided to make huge numbers of the creatures for that exact purpose. This would mean that there would need to be huge numbers of parasites trapped in facilities at all times, enough that if they were able to escape, they would have quickly spread all around the planet, forcing a tiny number of the bat monsters to flee for Earth in a colony ship. What an irony that would be. Vampires are immortal creatures that kill to extend their own lives, and the bat monsters may have lost their homeworld and most of their species by trying to steal the vampire's ability and become immortal themselves. I've been the Hidden Object Guru. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please remember to like and subscribe. Special thanks go out to my patrons, Desire, Marissa, Eduardo, Brian, and Joanne. You can always find me at my live streams, weeknights at 9 Eastern and weekends at noon. We'll see you back here for more Supermassive Games content. But until then, au revoir.